that's going to be a situation where it's definitely going to favor one team or the other out here as they change ends. And the team that's over here on the east side is definitely going to have to watch their P's and Q's defensively because they're going to be kicking into a teeth of about a 15 to 20 mile an hour wind.
Yeah, and the other thing is that this field runs east to west, not the conventional north-south. So you do sort of have to rotate everything you think you know about the wind and shift that at a 90-degree angle.
No doubt about that. And as most teams are coming into a regional, these two teams are on a roll. The Andrean 59ers have won 5 straight and 8 of their last 9. Meanwhile, the Wheeler Bearcats in their last 9 are 8-0-1 on the season. And, of course, Tony, you had a chance to see a lot of the games that are played here at Newton Park, and a little bit different twist this season with Canterbury moving up to 2A, now giving maybe some of the other 1A schools a real legitimate shot at possibly getting to the semi-state.
Yeah, semi-state wasn't much of a concern for these schools. It had been Canterbury coming out of the Garrett Regional, so they ran into them certainly, say, next week. This year, this regional, though, had been the domain of the Bethany Christian Bruins for the last couple of seasons. In fact, all 4 teams that we're about to see tonight lost to Bethany in the tournament at one point in the last 2 years. But John Glenn took care of that threat on Wednesday night last week in sectional. Mishawaka Marion took care of John Glenn on Saturday afternoon on this very field, in fact. And now it's really, I'd say it's a wide open race, although I think it's pretty clear, at least based on the coaches' poll and the results, say when Wheeler played them earlier this season, that Andrean's going to be the odds-on favorite.
They are the favorite, coming in at 7th in the state. Taking a look at their tournament trail, a shutout win against Hanover Central in the opener, 6-0, and then a victory over a very tough Rensselaer team, 2-1 in that ball game. And then in the championship game, their traditional rival, the Bishop Knoll Warriors, a 4-0 victory in that game. And Tony, we had a chance to see Andrean and Bishop Knoll the latter part of the regular season. No love lost between those two teams, and normally a ball game that ends up between 20 and 30 fouls in the 80 minutes.
Yeah, like any good rivalry game, you've got people on the ground when fouls are called. You've got people on the ground when fouls aren't called, and maybe not as much of a rivalry aspect tonight, but you're 2 wins away from tacking on another piece to your trophy, so it's always going to be a tough, not necessarily crisply played, but hard-played game, certainly, when you get into the regional level.
Pete Reist is the head coach of the Andrean 59ers. This is going to be his swan song this season. He has been a head coach for 28 years, 24 at Andrean High School. We'll take a look at the numbers, which are phenomenal after the interview with Pete. Played his high school and collegiate ball with travel soccer, and out of Kenmore East in New York, also State University of New York at the college level of things. And we had a chance to visit with the veteran skipper of the Andrean 59ers and talked about the 2013 season and the special group of kids right now that's going to be moving on after the season. Welcome back here to the pregame show on RRSN.com and Regional Radio Sports. As we're set here at Newton Park for the LaVille Class 1A Regional, we're going to bring on Pete Reist, the head coach of the Andrean 59ers. And, Coach, congratulations on another sectional championship, your 9th in your career, wins over Hanover Central, Rensselaer, and Bishop Knoll in the championship game. Talk about the team's performance in the sectional and bringing home another title.
The Rensselaer game, they had a heck of a record coming in. We weren't sure about the competition that they played, but the game wasn't more than 10 minutes old, and we realized we were in a dogfight. They were a very good team. We were fortunate to get by that day, I think, 2-1. The game against Knoll was a typical Andrean Knoll game, a little chippy at times maybe, but it's a heck of a rivalry, and we go at each other hard. We were fortunate to get a couple goals up in the first half, and then hung on for that one.
Coach, rough start this season trying to get personnel in right positions, and now you guys have won 5 straight and 8 of your last 9 matches. What's been the difference here down the stretch of the regular season and then the postseason?
Well, we had some injuries early on, and most coaches don't talk about them, but we lost Aaron Corder for 4, maybe 5 games. He had a pretty bad concussion early on. And then we had Evan Fogel, a starting defender, go out with an ankle, and he missed, a full 3 games. And maybe we brought him back a little early, and he kind of had a recurring injury, so we had to struggle through that. And then we kind of changed our formation up a little bit to give us maybe a little bit more coverage in the back. And I think when you put all those things together, that might be the difference.
Meanwhile, in the midfield, one of the recipients of that new change was Mike Metzloff, and he's just done a great job for you with 4 goals and 14 assists this season, which is very close to a school record for helpers for the Niners. Talk about how that's affected his level of vision out there, being able to see his teammates both widthwise as well as lengthwise.
Well, depending on how far we can go here, Metloff may very well have an opportunity to get the assist record. He's very, very close to it right now. It's held by Michael Gore. So they've kind of their pact is if you're going to get it, then you pass it to me and I get the goal. And Michael is climbing on the goal charts historically for Andrean single season.
Yes, he certainly is right now as we talk about the senior. 23 goals on the campaign, and he's been a marked man this year. Everybody knows where he's at. Everybody knows how to stop him, but they're just not able to do it. And, again, the set pieces as well as some of the stuff you guys have been doing with overlaps has helped him out as well.
Yeah, actually he's got 24. I made a mistake on Varvey. I corrected it today, so Michael's got 24. But the chemistry has been very good. When we changed things around and everything, prior to that we were just kind of going up top to Mike and letting him trying to do it all. We've got somebody else up there with him now, Lucas Nwesnik, has been complimenting him very good. Had a big, big goal. Heck, he scored the game winner in the Rensselaer match. So he's done a good job. And we've got, Chase Dawson and Getloff. When they're healthy at the outside mids, we're a different club than the beginning of the year.
Give you a wrap-up, Coach. Let's take a look at keys of the ball game. This is a different Wheeler team than the one you guys saw early in the season when you beat them 4-0. They are on a roll right now. They have picked up wins in their last 9 matches, 8-0-1 under Dave Bach, the former Niner himself. So as you take a look at their side and what you've been able to glean from scouting as well as the previous meeting, what are you going to have to do to get to the regional championship game on Saturday?
Well, I noticed after the game when we were shaking hands at Andrean earlier in the year, there was one boy that wasn't dressed, and I figured he was probably a player. He looked like a player. They've got a couple of high goal scorers. They got a kid, I think, with 28, and they got another guy with 17. So obviously you have to pay attention to those people. But we're not going to come out of our game. It's our intention to play our game. We want to get that first goal, which we think is going to be real big. And Dave Bach being the next player of mine, I wish him almost all the luck in the world. Not quite, but we're looking forward to playing. I'm so proud of the job he's done. It's just fantastic. He's taken Wheeler and really brought him up to another level.
Thanks very much for the time, Coach. Best of luck.
Okay.
Pete Reese joining us here in the pregame show on RRSN.com and Regional Radio Sports. 312 wins in his coaching career in high school over 28 years. 312, 168, and 35. That's a 640 winning percentage. 24 years at Andrean. 289, 140, and 33, a 661 winning percentage. His assistant coaches are Aaron Jopic, his son Pete Reese Jr., Joe O'Neill, multiple Lake and Porter and Lake Athletic and Northwest Crossroads Conference championships. Back in the old days, 2 Final Four Northern Cup appearances, 9 sectionals, and 1 regional championship for the Niners skipper. Andrean coming off a 13-2-3 season last year, and we talked, Tony, about that shocking defeat by Andrean by Marquette Catholic over at the Bishop Knoll sectional. That certainly opened up a lot of eyes across the state.
Well, and the other thing that it does is it only doubles Andrean's resolve. I mean, doubles metaphorically. It may well be more than a factor of 2, but makes the 59ers just want it that much more to get back out here and hold a trophy on this field come Saturday evening, something that I think they haven't won a regional since 1996, right, even with the shift to class soccer 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was back at the Maryville Regional. I think they knocked off Chesterton that year in Ishmael, Ottawa. So, yeah, you're going
Let me guess, you were there?
I was there 17 years ago, Tony. Yep, and it was a long time ago. Long time coming for the Andrean 59ers to, as you mentioned, raise the hardware out here. Last season they lost a lot. They lost Mike Crew, their goalkeeper, who had 11 shutouts. He ended up going to St. Joseph's. Matt Anderson, a defender with 8 goals and 5 assists, ended up going as a student up to Madison in Wisconsin. Dave Zuccarelli decided to skip soccer and go to college down at Purdue. And Kyle Costa, a young man that we've seen here on the pitch refereeing games in Northwest Indiana, he had 4 goals in last season's campaign for Andrean. All of them moved on graduation-wise, but this Andrean team still with a solid core, Tony. You look at their starting lineup, and it is senior-laden, so this is really the year that Pete would like to make some hay and possibly get down to Indianapolis.
Yeah, what do we have? 10 seniors, 9 seniors in the Andrean starting lineup?
Yep.
We've got, I see one person over here that we don't have a class marked on, but it's going to, it's going to be the last chance these Andrean players have too. It's not like you'll see sometimes, especially in the small school ranks, there'll be a school that has a few seniors and a lot of juniors, that it's like, this year's a test run. It's next year that really counts. No, this year is here for the 59ers coming off of, is it 5959 Broadway in Merrillville?
It is.
Yeah, of course, they're not in Merrillville tonight. They're, 60, 70 miles east here in Lakeville, but it's going to be a very pleasant bus ride home if they should win on Saturday. It's not going to be a pleasant bus ride home if they fail to do so on either of the next 2 nights.
Medlock Builders at 10971 Four Seasons Place in Crown Point is a family-owned and operated business for over 10 years in Northwest Indiana as a premier custom home builder. Our construction process entails efficient supervision, innovative design, state-of-the-art technology, and excellent craftsmanship. Our user-friendly software allows our clients to monitor cost and time effectively to make sure your project gets completed on time and budget. Check out their website at metloftbuilders.com or call 219-308-1110. That's 219-308-1110 for a pictorial gallery of current and future projects, as well as testimonials from our many satisfied customers. We are members of the Home Builders Association of Northwest Indiana and the National Association of Home Builders. Medlock Builders, where excellence is not an upgrade. So glad you could join us out here for regional championship action. We will be right back with you here after this ball game for Boone Grove and Mishawaka Marion soccer right here on RRSN.com. And then Saturday night, Adam Demery and I will be back with you here for the LaVille championship game as the winners of these games tonight will feed in to the regional championship with an opportunity to head over to the semi-state. And Tony, from what you've been able to gather, who's looking good out here in the eastern portion of the time zone as far as in soccer, both Class 1A as well as 2A?
Well, Marion, obviously the team to beat in, probably in St. Joe County in Class 1A coming out of that sectional. At the 2A level, the sort of Michiana teams alive tonight, to all 4 of them playing in the regional over at Baker Park, I believe it is, in Mishawaka. That, I think, kicked off close to an hour ago. Northridge taking on Penn, Warsaw taking on St. Joe. Incidentally, Northridge and Penn also a girls regional final Saturday afternoon at Goshen High School. I might have to head out there before I continue into the whole Saturday night soccer broadcasting circuit over in Elkhart County. In the northeastern part of the state, which would also feed in that Garrett regional that has been the domain of Fort Wayne Canterbury since the dawn of time, at least as far as class soccer is concerned. Lakewood Park against Fort Wayne Blackhawk. Blackhawk winning that sectional that Canterbury so regularly came out of. And then Westview against Fort Wayne Lewis. So really a lot more of the same over in the northeastern quarter of the state. Peru, Faith Christian, Oak Hill, and Argus make up the Peru Regional in Class 1A. And on the southern end of the northern semi-state, Guerin Catholic, Hamilton Heights, Western Boone, and Northwestern in action down at the Tipton Regional this afternoon.
Regional Radio Sports and RRSN.com want to thank Wheeler High School and the Wheeler Boys and Girls Soccer Boosters for sponsoring a portion of tonight's broadcast. The Bearcats and their boosters wish best of luck to Coach David Bach and the Wheeler Boys team, as well as Brian Murray and the Wheeler Girls team, and they wish them best of luck in their quest for postseason success. The Wheeler High School Soccer Booster Club says, "Go Bearcats." And we had a chance prior to the ball game to visit with the former Andrean 59er, who's now wearing the green and orange of the Bearcats, and that's David Bach. The young man has done a terrific job with this program as he's built him into a contender in the Northwest Indiana Soccer Conference, and they are now sectional champions as well, as they were able to come up with victories on their home field against Marquette Catholic in a shootout, 4-3, a victory over the Westville Blackhawks 3-1, and then a sectional championship victory, the icing on the cake, a 9-1 victory over the Washington Township Senators. And we had a chance to talk to the skipper of the Bearcats prior to the ball game to talk about his side, which right now is 8-0-1 in the last 9 times out. Welcome back here to the pregame show on RRSN.com and Regional Radio Sports. Dave Bach, the head coach of the